Before we floated down the Danube, we had to get there. And I thought today I'd talk a little bit up front about getting there. Sometimes when we think about Europe, we have our own ideas, and people end up in France or Italy, maybe even Spain. And this part of Eastern Europe kind of gets left in the background. And so it was kind of interesting that I had the opportunity, since I retired back in 2005, to make an acquaintance of a gentleman from Hungary. And he and I would talk about where he grew up in Budapest, and I got interested in that. And then I was involved with the Jefferson County Literacy Group, and I would be a mentor for people who were immigrants to the United States. And one of the immigrants was from Romania. And so I remember meeting him the first time here at the library, and helped him, number one, find a place to live, get a job, get his driver's license. And then his wife and daughter came from Romania. And again, in the conversation, I got intrigued with what this is all about in Eastern Europe. And so I decided I wanted to go there and see it for myself. And so my wife and I planned this trip. And I just need to bring up this other map, which is a little harder to see, but where we started was Warsaw. We flew from Chicago to Warsaw. Oh my goodness, it takes forever, right? And you get off, but I wanted to mention this. Whenever I travel, I hope when you travel, wherever you go, you keep a record of it. I have my notes here from November of 2016 about the trip. And what it says is, number one, it was a long trip, but when we got off the plane, everything was slick. They got us through customs. We got our transportation from the group that we had set up the tour with, and got to the hotel and got some rest in a real bed. The group that we went with was called Gate One. And I'm not here to plug Gate One. I told Deb that up front. More to the point, what I'm saying is there's lots of ways that you can travel. You can choose to go to Europe on your own. You can set up your own schedule. And my wife and I have done that previously. But this time we decided we're using a tour, and obviously there's the one you see on PBS a lot, Viking. It's a little bit more expensive. I have friends who like that one. Gate One's a little bit more economical for us, and we found everything there to our satisfaction. Now, sorry for these little delays here, but what I'm trying to show you here is that your tour company will take good care of you, regardless of what tour company it is. And here they give you information about their locations in Budapest, Hungary. If you had a problem, you could easily get some assistance. There's always a tour guide specifically from that company with you throughout. An overall guide, and then like in Warsaw, we had a specific guide that took us around to see the sites within the city. Also, so that folks back home know where you are and could theoretically check in with you, so to speak, if they had to. They list the hotels and where we stayed in the Sofitel in Warsaw, and the Radisson in Krakow, and the Marriott in Prague, and so forth. So I just wanted to show you that. They'll put the embassies. They'll give you access to all of that information. I don't know if others of you have already traveled there, and it's what I'm saying is just kind of boring, but I wanted to give that as kind of a preliminary. All right, so I'm an amateur photographer. I love taking pictures, and for me, one of the best revolutions was when they got rid of film. I know they haven't got rid of film, but digital photos for me makes everything so much easier. This is a shot within the city of Warsaw. We flew in, as I said, got to our hotel, stayed overnight. The next morning, we went out, and this is some of the first sights we saw. All right, what in the heck's going on here? Well, this is the police and the army, but it's not a revolution. They're practicing for Armistice Day. We went in November, and they were getting set up for the Armistice Day parade that was going to take place in within the week or so. This is one of the many synagogues that we saw on this trip. It's impossible to go to Eastern Europe and not be focused at least 50% of your time on the Holocaust, World War II, and that whole tragedy. And so we had the opportunity. I was on a bus when I took this picture. We had a chance to see this as we went through the city, and then we got to a specific place, and here's our doesn't he look like he's Russian or Polish with his hat on and so forth? And he tells us the history of what's going on there. And this is a little lighter. This is Frederick Chopin. This is an area in Warsaw that's a park dedicated to Chopin, even though he was born there and went to Paris as an adult, lived out most of his life there. They're still dedicated to his memory. My wife and I were catching up on a Ken Burns thing on the Holocaust and the United States reaction to that was broadcast on PBS last September. And this gentleman is mentioned in that broadcast. His name is Karski, and he helped a lot of Jewish people be protected, I guess, get immigrated from Poland and on to other places. And on in his life, he was actually a professor at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Again, this is a Jewish memorial that's located there in Warsaw. This is the Jewish Holocaust Museum that's there. And then this is Old Town Warsaw, and this gives you kind of a flavor of what the city is or was back before World War II. And this area here, fortunately, wasn't bombed and is still standing in good order. And this is life as it goes on with the kinder care and coffee shops and so forth. This lets you know there's lots of things to see in another country that will bring bring new messages to you. Like this is a shop with the stacking dolls that I'm sure all of you have seen and so forth. But there's also the day-to-day life and routine that you'll find there. So let's see here. I need to go back on this one. So from Warsaw, we went to what was formerly the capital of Poland, which was Krakow. Oops. Oh, and on the way, this is still in Warsaw. This gives you an idea of their subway system and what it looks like. And so again, it's Warsaw is a modern city with public transportation and traffic jams. They have traffic jams there, just like we're accustomed to in big cities. No message here, just isn't this an amazing picture with all of the steeples, all the glitter of gold? And obviously Warsaw lived through the Russian years, so to speak, from 1945 up to 1989. They were under Russian control. And so Russia came in and built some really ugly buildings. But here's some of the buildings from the past. Again, they've managed to save this history. Again, a Jewish memorial with the lights, very symbolic and respectful of all the people that died during the course of the Holocaust that were Jewish people, and actually they cordoned off. They had what was called the Warsaw Ghetto, and then in about in 43 there was an uprising, and the Germans killed massive amounts of Jewish people during the course of that uprising. Okay. Now I'll get into, this is one. What do I want to show here? Okay, now I'm in Auschwitz, and again, it's a huge Jewish kind of a memorial. And the next slide here shows you this is part of the ghetto. They just sealed off the Jewish people into a specific area of Krakow. The Jewish symbols, that's the entrance to a synagogue that existed there. Have you seen Schindler's List? This is the building where Schindler had his manufacturing offices. And so we got to go to that area. Here's a plaque outside of the factory, and the whole concept of whoever saves one life saves the entire world. And here's a memorial to Oskar Schindler. And these are pictures of people who he saved during the course of the Holocaust. Again, a church there. I'm trying to recall exactly why I have that, but again, it's just the beauty of the buildings that are there, the architecture. This is the Vistula River that runs through Krakow. And this is very symbolic because they believe that there was originally a dragon, a fire-breathing dragon, that was the the slaying of the fire-breathing dragon was the founding of Krakow. I put this slide in here because in the Jewish community, each one of the families had a symbol over their door. And in this particular case, this one has an elephant. That was, again, part of the whole symbolization process of how we will identify ourselves. So this is a little harder. We went from Krakow out to Auschwitz and Birkenau. This is the headquarters of Auschwitz. And you've probably seen, if you've seen any of the Holocaust films, documentaries, this is the work will set you free. And obviously it was a lie, but that's part of the whole concentration camp mantra, I guess. Again, when I'm taking photos like this, I always have to make the judgment, how do I want to have this photo appear? And I decided that that one needed to be in black and white as opposed to color. Most of the rest of these you're going to see, these are the barracks that the Jewish people were confined to during Auschwitz. Gives you some idea of the millions of people that died in the course of the Holocaust in Auschwitz. In the Ken Burns thing, I should mention this, is they don't want people to just remember Auschwitz, because there were over 100 different killing centers throughout Europe during the Holocaust. Again, this is actually the only surviving crematorium that still exists there at Auschwitz, and it's an attempt to give you some symbol of what actually took place there. You can see the difference here between the black and white that I took before and the color here. It brings you a little bit closer to exactly what it looks like. I need to just go back to that. You've heard the stories, I'm sure. The train comes into Birkenau. You go to the right, you go to the gas chamber, you go to the left, you go to the work camp. And this is the area in which those prisoners disembarked. This is turning it around the other way, so you can see the guard houses out here, the railroad tracks. And as I was taking photos here, I just had to switch gears back to black and white. And as I've shown this, I've blown this up. I had a photo exhibit in Janesville last fall, and people would come up to me and they say, well, you stole that from somebody else. I said, no, this is black and white. And I said, it's so spooky for me, even now, to look at it, because here's the railroad car, and here's the people getting off the car, here's the guard towers, here's the electrified fence. It's just like 1942. It feels like you're there. In the Ken Burns special, they showed this exact same shot. And again, these are toilets. And the transfer of disease through that. This is our guide at Auschwitz. Another photo there. All right, from there, it was 8 hours to Prague by bus. And along the way, I think everybody's seen this name out there. I couldn't figure out if this was really some sort of disposal or if it had something to do with atomic energy, but I took the photo anyway. This is right outside of Prague. This is the castle where, again, kings were part of the Austrian Hungarian Empire lived there. This is St. Stephen's, a guardhouse there. again, part of this St. Stephen's Church. I have to take these pictures, and I wanted to share them with you because it's just unbelievable, the beauty of the buildings, both secular and non-secular. We went inside. It's just amazing. And this is the flag of the Czech Republic now. The gargoyles, like you see in a lot of churches, they're used as obviously water spouts to take the rainwater off the roof. Okay. Now I have another clip, but I'm not gonna do it, I guess. But this is one of those clocks, astronomical clock that when it, maybe I should run it, I don't know. But when it gets to the hour, then people come out, these doors open up, people come out, and it rings some music. Let's see here. Maybe this is it. Oh, I guess I'm not familiar with the software on this. I better not do that. Sorry. You can see how many hundreds of people here gather around the clock area in the square in Prague just to experience this. This is a cafe that they have there now that I was told that still exists. I have a friend who was in Prague last year in 2022, and this is supposedly the home where this writer was born, that they've transformed into a cafe. So in Prague, this is the Jewish cemetery. And again, this it feels like a shock kind of thing because the stones are just piled up, I guess, in this cemetery area. And this is the synagogue area as well. This is the old synagogue. It's centuries old. This is one of the bridges over the St. Charles River there. I put this slide in here to show you that, again, public transportation in Prague. We rode on the trams there. It's all very modern. Okay, I think that's the end of that series. All right, so then from Prague, I know you're probably saying, I thought we were going on a river. Well, so finally we get to Regensburg. This is a street scene in Regensburg, Germany. They had already put up Christmas decorations in the first part of November. This is another St. Stephen's Church, this one in Regensburg. Again, yes, there's public transportation, but it seems as if in the cities in Europe, you're going to see much more bicycle traffic. Okay, we're finally off. Here's the first shot that I took from the boat as we're going down the Danube, and it's, to me, it was just beautiful country. I have my mother's grandparents came here from Germany in the 1850s, and so this is all meaningful to me. Uh, I saw wildlife on this trip and other river trips that I've taken that you just don't see in the United States. The old castles are up on the hillside. These are, shots of the fall scene. Again, I'm saying this is in November and it's still looking like October to me. I never did find out what this Senate-looking building is that's out in the middle of Germany, but you can see how large it is in relation to this person that's standing there. Yeah. So I found the same thing when I went on the Rhine. The wine along the riverbank, the growing of grapes and so forth is extremely important to the landowners there, and part of that, culture and fishing. Okay. From from here, we make our way down to Austria and a city called Milk, Melk. And this is I guess, a castle that again has significance to the royal family. This is the part of the Habsburgs of Austria-Hungary history. This is, I was fortunate enough, they let me up in the tower so I could take some pictures from up above. And it seems like when I was in Madrid, I saw this same thing. As the Habsburgs have such a connection the to horses that they have to they have to have them even in their artwork. And here's another story. We're in Vienna at this point, and we're walking along, and we broke off of our tour. They were going on another place, and my wife said, "Let's go see the Lippenzaner horses." And so we went in there, and this is an illegally taken photo. I found out after I took it, they announced, "Please, no photos." But obviously, they're the famous horses of Austria. And again, a tram here, this huge church in Vienna, and this is right next to where the Christmas market was held in the background there. And here. This is the castle, again, the government headquarters, so to speak, currently. Many much significance given to the churches of Vienna. And here we are inside that. Okay, so this is probably the youngest capital in, I believe, in Europe, and it's Bratislava in Slovakia. And this is extreme. I had to include this picture because to me it's extremely interesting. All the detail, the rock guarding the entrance to the city, and all the detail here of the pathways of the guards from below up to the top. Obviously, less important today than it was in history. Bratislava, and this is the primary church of Saint. I don't remember which one this is. Saint Matthias, I believe. And again, you can see the detail here that they include in the architecture of the buildings. No, I gotta go back. Yeah, this is another memorial to the Jewish people killed in the Holocaust. So again, I hope I'm not overdoing this, but this is what the trip was about, is a focus on the tragedy, the Holocaust, and the people that worked to save the Jewish people during the course of that Holocaust. This I found extremely interesting. This is the King's Pathway that still exists in Bratislava. They wanted, so along the walk here, there'll be these crowns, and they'll show that this is the safe way that the king passed through the city. All right, so finally you get to see the ship that we were on. The service was great. The food was great. Just I don't know what else to say about it. And this is the major bridge in Bratislava, crossing the Danube there. My fingers got too heavy. All right. This is Budapest, and again, this is part of the Jewish synagogue that's in Budapest. You can see the interior of the synagogue here. Windows and even the organ. The organ is located in there. This is a Jewish cemetery right adjacent to that. That's part of the Jewish memorial. This is called the Tree of Life. And a man by the name of Wallenberg was very instrumental in getting Jewish people the passes and so forth that were necessary from the American government that had made it extremely difficult for Jewish people to get to exit. And so this is kind of a memorial to him, but on each one of these leaves is the name of a Jewish person who died in in the Holocaust. This is silverware when the Jewish people exited their homes. They took important belongings with them and so forth. And these are remnants of that were rescued. No one knows who they belong to, so they're part of this Jewish museum there. I know this is an unusual picture. I was just entranced with the chandeliers, and I was enjoying some pastry in this shop here, so I had to take that picture. Budapest is my favorite city in Europe. It's just so beautiful. And hopefully the photos that I've taken here will give you some indication of why I have that opinion. This is the chain bridge that was actually destroyed during World War II and then rebuilt that goes across the Danube. This is one of those memorials, whatever, that goes back to the Habsburg time. Again, you see the horses that still remains there. All this intricate detail in the sculpture. This is St. Stephen's, and I took this picture, I'm sorry, out the bus window because we were hurrying through at that time, but it was my first glimpse of this. I think this is an amazing religious structure. This is another picture of the chain bridge with the lions at the entrance, but giving you a real idea of the traffic there. And now I'm over into the Buda part of the city. The city is divided into two parts with the Danube going down the middle. And Buda is on one side, Pest is on the other side. And this is the Buda side, and this is definitely St. Matthias Church. And look at the roof work, the shingles and so forth. To me, it was just very interesting. You see it in a different perspective here with the high steeple and the church roof in the background. Another steeple here, you know it's the same building. And this is St. Matthias, who's a legendary historic figure in Hungarian history. This is, again, on the Buda side, shooting across to the government buildings on the Pest side. And this is the interior of St. Matthias. This is fun. Sorry if I make you hungry. We went to the market, and this is the huge market in downtown Budapest. And all of the variety of items that are for sale there. A million kinds of sausages, meats. There's fruit here, vegetables, seasoning. And this is what it looks like from a broader perspective, the interior of the Budapest market. This is a shop there, and just all the items on the wall. This is a close-up of St. Stephen's Church. And here's the interior. So I have just 4 more slides here. This is our support group. At this particular juncture, we're on the ship, and this is all the details in the communication center that they have there to make sure that we're safe and that they have communication with government agencies and so forth. They have entertainment on the ship, and this is one night they had a comedian and a dance show and so forth. And who makes up the dance show? Well, it's our service staff, the people who clean our rooms and serve food, etc. This gentleman here is the person we always went to that was our service person. He was from Romania and just a funny man. So